want to talk so much, I'd rather do some Q&A. So, who's got questions? There's a lot of wine people here too, and I'm pumped to talk a little Pinot Gris or some Douro, or you want to talk Hermitage, I'm in. So, wherever you want to go. Jets, I can talk football.
How many bottles do you have in your collection?
Of root beer or of wine? Probably about 5,000. I keep it all at the store. It's pretty big, you know, it's very, very big, but I'd be lying if I said it was totally mine. If there's a customer that needs something special, it stays within the inventory of Wine Library. It's in a separate warehouse, but if I needed to use it for some reason, I donate a lot to charity things and things like that.
What's the hot new region? Where do you think is great wine going to come out of that nobody knows of yet?
That nobody knows of yet?
Well,
I would say the one area that I think is nobody knows it yet that has big potential is Baja California, Mexico. That whole area. I think that has big, big, big potential. You know, I think you guys know this. I'm ripping high on Portugal, and it continues to grow. I think South Africa, because of the World Cup next year, you know, a lot of people will go there. A lot of people will talk about it. People create World Cup displays in their stores. So I think Pinotage and Chenin Blanc from South Africa will get more love. And then for the same exact reason, I think Brazilian sparkling wines are really interesting. I've been tasting more and more. I'm actually considering to go there next year and take some shows. That part, those sparkling wines, that's a very interesting thing from a business standpoint too, because Brazil in America is always thought of being like party and festive, and so is sparkling wine. I think they have a really interesting natural play there. Yes?
Do you think you're going to keep doing Wine Library TV? Or is there an end?
I never thought I'd do it this long.
Yeah.
You know, it's been 4 years, which is ridiculous. There's a big part of me that wants to stop at 999, just because I think it's funny. And you know, from being the hype kind of marketing guy I am, 999 probably comes sometime next year. There's a big part of me that wants to stop the same day Oprah stops. You know, so I would say those two are in play. But I said last year in my mind this time that I would end it in 09, and I didn't. And in an interesting way, I almost feel rejuvenated. I actually want to make the shows better. I don't know, I've been thinking about really getting even more serious about it. Maybe because I'm probably getting very serious about Corked, my wine social network. We have a big time iPhone app coming out in January. And so, you know, either 999 so I can always flirt and brand and market that I'm going to do a 1,000th episode somewhere and you never know when kind of thing, or September of 2011 when Oprah stops is attractive as well. So, yes?
What would you say to somebody who wanted to start a video blog? We've got a lot of students who want to do that, and we started our own. And they're scared of not being perfect. And I've noticed that in your first shows, you were much different than you are now.
Right.
And now
much better looking back then.
But you're so, you like, let yourself be yourself. And I think that's one of the things that draws people to you. What advice do you have for people who want to start?
You know, the whole like be yourself thing is so easy to say, but it's the truth. I think people need to pay attention to what's important. I would say instead of be yourself and don't be worried, my biggest piece of advice is know your message. Know what the heck you're doing. I'm telling you, I promise you, you want to leave here, you want to make me happy in any way, everybody's asking me, what can I do for you? Here's what I can do. When you get in your car and you're driving around, honestly say to yourself, do I really understand what I'm doing? I'm not joking. Like, do I understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, and where is it going to end up, and what is it going to accomplish? Because I think if you do, it puts you in a much higher, you know, place to execute. But even more importantly, that to be happy about it, because that's so imperative. I think way too many people are focused on what they get out of it, the cash, the fame, you can buy a boat. I'm obsessed with the process. I am obsessed with the process. I have been my whole life. I mean, I was a huge, if you open up my junior yearbook right now, far more people say, let's go Rangers than good luck with the Jets. Far more. Because I was a diehard New York Rangers fan. But then they won the Cup in '94, and I was out. I was a huge Yankees fan growing up. And then they won in '96. Charlie Hayes caught the ball. I was out. which is why the Jets are good for me. You know, I'm very much about the climb. You're talking to somebody who, next week, on Christmas Day, Lizzie and I are flying to Naples to spend a week with her parents, and I'm so looking forward to spending time with Misha and Lizzie and of course the in-laws and all that. And I'm so pumped. But I'm far more excited about it right now, being with you guys, than when it actually happens. Like when we wake up on Christmas Day and go to the airport, I'm gonna be pissed because we're gonna be in it, right? Like I'm that guy that when you go on vacation, like the first day I'm like, yeah, and then I'm like, oh, 2 days, oh, and then I always do this when we're exactly at halfway. I'm like, okay, how long ago was it when we started this? Oh, we're just as close to it ending. And so I never like it. I don't like the stuff. I don't like, yesterday we did Hanukkah. I got presents. I'm like pissed. I'm like, yeah, awesome, thanks, Mom. Like I don't like it. I like the process, the anticipation. And that's, I think, what's made me successful in business. I'm never in it for the cash or to be on CNN. The best day of Wine Library TV was the first day. As soon as I was done taping, I looked at Eric Kastner, who was taping the show at the time, and I said, this thing is going to be huge. And I was pumped because I was like, and nobody knows it. It's my thing, And I just wish more people looked at it that way. You don't need stuff. Honestly, you don't need stuff. It's nice, I guess, and people like it. There's not a lot you need. You need to be in a place where you're not pissed in the morning where you're going. Yes, dear.
Okay, yeah, I have a blog.
Okay.
It doesn't sell anything, but
okay.
In spite of what you said, I would like to make money.
Okay.
So how do you do that?
Well, making money in the world has not changed because of the internet. You can be in retail by selling something. You can be in advertising. If you have a lot of people reading it, there's plenty of people that want those eyeballs and are willing to buy ad space on your blog. You could be in services. So in theory, I could have a wine class on Wine Library TV if I wanted, and it could be the biggest thing on the site, and it could be $199 a week in New York City, and I would sell a crap load of it, right? Or you could be in events. So I could do a wine festival once a quarter and make tons of money doing that. What I think people need to recognize, everybody's always talking about, well, how do you monetize? Monetizing hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. The other thing that hasn't changed is that 99% of people out there aren't good at monetizing. So I think that, what is the subject that you blog about?
Gardening.
So gardening, which is always an example I love to use because it's such a passionate place. I mean, there's a lot of things. One, there's tons of people that would pay you for gardening classes. Just they would. There's also the ability for you, if you don't physically sell something, to do affiliate sales. So if you're talking about certain kinds of gardening equipment, they can have affiliate links to retail stores. And then finally, if you have enough of an audience, there's plenty of people that would buy ad space in that sector because a lot of the gardening sites and gardening magazines are still doing quite well because it's a very high profit industry. But it's about having users, right?
Right.
And if you have 3 readers, it's tough to call Home and Garden and be like, you want to buy some ad space? Sure. How many people are reading it? 3. But fair enough. What I really talk about in the book is more about how to get people. And the way to get people is to go and interact with them. I mean, if you don't go home tonight and type in gardening forums and find all the gardening forums there are out there and get involved and become a member and become part of that community, then you're making a huge mistake. Because that's what I built Wine Library TV when there was no Twitter or Facebook. Twitter wasn't made yet, and Facebook was still a total college play, and I didn't want to be the creepy old guy selling wine to the kids. So I had to stay away from it, and I had to, work forums and other people's blogs, leave comments, and so it's a lot. I mean, like I tweeted today, making a blog post is like taking a shower. It's the first thing you do, and it's the lowest cost of entry to your day. The content you produce is your entry. It's what you do for the other 15 hours, 7, 4, 3 hours. That's the game. Once you make your statement, you got to go find people to listen to it. And that's the problem. People write, and they write, but they don't spend any time going out and networking and bringing people in. And that's by far the biggest thing that I see blogs doing wrong. You should